Good day, everybody. My name is Todd Standing. I'm the man who takes people out into the field and has them either live interact with their eyewitness Sasquatch. Thank you very much for tuning into my Sasquatch Sunday video. Today, I'm going to talk about this very interesting subject because the Sasquatch can be dangerous. The Sasquatch they're hunters. They're giant, huge predators that are the dominant species in their ecosystem. And this is something I don't talk about very much. You know, there's a lot to do with people going missing, the 411 chronicles that are quite exceptional in my opinion. And I hear stories about it all the time. And what I don't tell people, I don't talk about a lot of, because I don't want to be the guy who researches it and focuses on the damage that they do, or the perspective of people seeing the damage that Sasquatch does. And what I mean by that is, you know, here in where I live in Canada, there's an area called Banff. Lake Minnetonka used to be called something very different because the story was that a judge took a shot at a Sasquatch, and then after that, the Sasquatch were very angry and hostile with people for decades. Of course, that doesn't seem to be the case now. Lake Minnetonka is a place where people go. I happen to know for a fact there are Sasquatch out there, especially in certain areas at certain times of year. But you know, things change, and I have to say, at least half the time when I go into a research area, I don't talk about this a lot, but the Sasquatch are completely disagreeable to have me there and don't want me around, and they make it very obvious. And uh, I don't really know how to express that specifically. So I'm gonna talk about a family who have a property in I'm gonna say Washington State. Uh, what happened is they had an uncle who was kind of the crazy uncle of the family, who was a Vietnam War vet, and kind of spent a lot of time, most of his time out in the cabin. He lived out there, but the area is considered to be haunted. And as you're going to see by the comments that I took notes, I spoke to them on the phone. Even just today, I spoke to them. It was the third time I've spoken to them today because I'm working with them to try to find a way to have them successfully live in this cabin with the presence of Sasquatch. So, of course, Uncle who passed away out there, he actually died out there. Again, was had some post-traumatic stress disorder, was very damaged by his time in the military, and was a gun-toting dude who didn't take crap from anything. And that's a recipe for disaster. But I'll tell you something that I can guarantee you is he found a way to successfully coexist with the Sasquatch. Not to say he maybe didn't shoot at them, or maybe he didn't, he wasn't disagreeable to them. But if they wanted him gone, he'd be gone. And I have a tendency to think that the Sasquatch in this area, based on what I've been talking about from the people that are in that area, there's 3 cabins in the area in this vicinity. And there are other cabins that successfully reside there. So, but some of the points I wanted to bring up first to talk about was something that was not cool. So, what's happened is, so the uncle died, left the family the property, and it's 2 brothers and a sister. The sister doesn't really she has no interest in the wilderness. She's a city girl. One of the 2 brothers has spent quite a bit of time out there and doesn't go back there because we'll start out with that. So we went up there with him and his dog, and he went out there during the time there's a creek nearby, and there's the salmon that run the creek. So he went out to explore, checking things out, went down to the Salmon Run, saw Sasquatch there, and shot at them, was very disagreeable to them. That night when he was in the outhouse and he carried around a gun like on his hip, it was a 9mm, and apparently they busted a tree. He was in the outhouse, took a couple shots to defend himself, and they put that tree right through the outhouse. I'm told I'll be able to get a picture of this. So if I get that photograph, I'll definitely send it on Instagram. But and then, of course, when he got out of the outhouse after, hell of a mess to say the least, the Sasquatch killed his dog. So, and the dog was killed and left on the porch. So in the morning when he woke up, he didn't have his dog all night, and dog was dead. It's a black lab. So it was a really nice dog, non-violent. If you know anything about black labs, I do. And apparently it was just a very typical, nice black lab, and they killed it and left it on the porch. So this is all very, very bad. So other brother comes in thinking, this is crap, doesn't really know what to think of the situation. So he goes in there, just him and his wife. They spend a weekend there and don't see anything. Nothing happens. So they come out in the spring. So they're going there. They start going there more and more. They see nothing. They saw the outhouse is damaged, and they hear the testimony of a brother who they respect and appreciate. But it's a beautiful land. They go out there, and then something happens. So what was their testimony here? It was tree breaks. So they actually did notice. It was the Salmon Run when the Salmon Run happened again. It wasn't the big Salmon Run, but it's that after that they noticed not so much aggression and violence as the brother had witnessed, probably because he was carrying a gun and shooting at them. That's a big problem. Don't do that. But they noticed that the Sasquatch were taking big branches and sticks, rocks, breaking them, smashing them on the ground, and notice what they derived as very angry, hostile, violent behavior. So this is when I first talked to them about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. But one of the most important things that I learned was they have other residents in the area, 2 other cabins in the area. So they went to one particular cabin that was agreeable to speak with them, and they said, yeah, absolutely, the Sasquatch are out there. And you'll find this in indigenous areas. When I say indigenous, I mean people that have lived there for generations. I don't know how else to say. When someone's lived there for generations, they're of the land. They know the land. They're stewards of the land. They've lived there. Anyways, calling them indigenous, native people get upset about that, but whatever. These people know the land, and they had definitive rules. And this is how they actually contacted me. So when they went to this other family, they said, well, first of all, you never go north because that's their hunting grounds. And most importantly, you don't go down past the tree breaks, especially during the Salmon Run. And they said, what do you mean tree breaks? And then they said, watch Discovering Bigfoot, the documentary. And I talk about tree breaks. And I love this information, this feedback that I'm getting, because Sasquatch tree breaks, I've seen them in Alabama, I've seen them in Texas, all the way up into Saskatchewan, British Columbia, Washington State, Montana. I've seen them all over the place. New York State had tree breaks, for God's sake. So this is something that's very universal amongst the Sasquatch people. If you would like to call them that, I would. And so he watched my documentary, got a hold of me through social media, and I've had quite a few conversations with him. So he also told me about the third cabin, who are not agreeable people. They want to be left alone, and especially since they had a man go missing while going hunting north in the 90s. And again, it comes back to some people, the third cabin is of a mindset that it's haunted and it's an evil place and there are devils running around there. And second cabin and the people I'm dealing with are not agreeable to that. It's Sasquatch, simply a troop of Sasquatch that are not agreeable. It seems that they're in the area. The other thing that was told to them is there is a berry spot. They call it, where is it? The Berry Gully. You stay away from the Berry Gully in August and September. You don't go down to the creek during the salmon spawn, and you don't go north, especially hunting. So now that they have all these rules, and I think that's amazing. They still ask me, do you think we should live there? Do you think that, and I can't really answer that. What I can answer is, if you know there's Sasquatch there, and you know they're not a tremendously agreeable group, you either find a way to coexist or you get the hell out of Dodge. So those are your real options. And the things that they've been telling me, like when a Sasquatch is, smashing down an outhouse, killing a dog, bashing rocks, smashing trees violently, those are bad signs. I've had rocks thrown at me in my general direction. You've seen it in my videos, and expeditioners have experienced it with me. And it's not really happening in my really good spots. Tree breaks, I go past them. I actually am kind of amazed by these people's experiences, because these tree breaks are, when you go past them, the Sasquatch are reacting very hostilely, and they don't do that in my good research areas. What is based on my perspective and my opinions is transpiring is they're telling me not to go there. And when I go past it, they're just saying, why can't you listen? Like, why do you have to be a jerk? And they know that I'm there for them. They know that I'm, researching them, that all the people that I bring there are looking to have encounters and interactions and learn about Sasquatch. So perhaps they're more agreeable to tolerate that from me. But in this case, these are not agreeable Sasquatch. And it's it's going to be like that with anybody. There's agreeable people, there's nice dogs, there's dogs that'll bite your ass. So again, I'm finding really, honestly, odds are like 50-50 that the Sasquatch will be very disagreeable to me. Half the time I go to a place, I spend some time there and I go, I'm leaving because they're just angry, and I'm just not going to tolerate that, because Sasquatch are gigantic, enormous, monstrous beings. And, you know, messing with Sasquatch has been fun for Jack Link's beef jerky, but in real life, they're monstrous. And if they want you gone, you'll be gone. And it's a pretty scary thing. So I'm currently working with these people. Hopefully I'll get new photographs, new information. They're, and I mean photographs, of the tree breaks, photographs of the outhouse that was destroyed. I don't want to see photographs of the dog that was murdered, but I'm very interested in the outhouse story. So the way the brother heard the Sasquatch were outside, apparently he actually heard the tree getting ripped out of the ground, and then he fired some shots, and the tree went right through the outhouse, just destroyed it, like bashed the whole top off of it. And the rules from Cabin 2 are amazing to me. So even Cabin 2 has the story of the man that went missing in the 90s while hunting, like gone, not a trace ever found of him, which is interesting. Are we going to just assume it was Sasquatch? Not very responsible to do that, but it's very interesting. Don't go north is one of the rules. This guy went hunting north and he's gone. But and then of course Cabin 2 and their rules, they don't go out at a certain time of year. They don't even come around. They actually don't go to their cabins when the berries are up in the berry gully and when the salmon are spawning. They stay away from the cabin. And that's also substantiated by the people that I'm talking to, and that they didn't see anything happen until the salmon spawn was transpiring. So, and the berry gully is to the west. But anyways, I'm going to be talking lots about this. There'll be more information coming about this. I'll be posting on Facebook and Instagram. So thank you very much for tuning into my Sasquatch Sunday video, and I'll see you live on Wednesday. Until then, take care.